Me, AvronPlays, and I'm here with Kodiakbricks.
Howdy, howdy.
We're gonna play. Some more Resident Evil.
The residence, we find that it is evil. In my mind, I wanted to incorporate a joke into that, but as the lyrics were leaving, the joke part of my brain is hanging on to something, and it's just kind of looking back at me like there's no room. I have nowhere to put it. He's just singing a song right now. It's like, I can't put a joke on this.
What is the joke? I'm confused. I always forget how to play this game. Not like the important parts, like combat, just like what button do I push to open doors?
That's important stuff to know.
I feel like I'm missing something.
What I will say is I'm plucking away at the Outer Wilds animation.
And
I gotta say, there are a lot of times where I don't expressly know like how something is gonna look until I'm like actively in the process of putting the frames together. Like I can do all the planning and the plotting or whatnot, but some of it doesn't come together until the 11th hour.
Yeah.
Such as right now, where it's the scene where like I've been stopped at the stoplight, and then have to like wait for it. And as a part of that,
I remember this. Okay.
Oh boy.
I gotta go check the reference. Anyways, you were saying?
Anyway, as part of that, I built like a whole new setting for that, away from the original one. Set up the stoplights, set up the renders, did Kodiak like screaming to a halt. Actually moved the model as if like the suspension is working, which was a shitload of work. And it wasn't until I was looking through the fully finished renders that I realized that the stoplight that I built is too short. And the top of the car is going to like scrape or like clip the stoplight. And what I have elected to do about it is not a goddamn thing. I'm not redoing all of those renders. And so instead I'm actually gonna like have the thing like rotate as I hit it. Because then I recognize that Thomas is also gonna come screaming through. Oh boy. Speaking of, Thomas is gonna come screaming through and knock the thing over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all works out.
Sometimes that's what matters, I guess. Okay. 3 and 5. I like how this puzzle is probably the most unlikely puzzle perhaps in the entire game.
Yeah.
Because it depends on like someone has to come in here and like realize the balls are necessary.
you said necessary.
Realize like that the colors are connected and that no one has like knocked a billiard ball off of the table.
Yeah, if some shuffling zombie came by and bumped that oh boy, that was a pleasant noise.
Yeah.
If some shuffling zombie came by and like bumped the billiard ball, you're fucked. You're never finding the solution to this.
Really, Chris? This is the time where you're just like, I don't know anything about medicine, so I'm not gonna pick this item up.
Ooh. I don't want my doctor to be mad at me.
No.
I don't know why I've given Chris this voice. Jill, I'm scared.
I was writing things down.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, did my internet go out? Did my hearing finally go out? Like,
no, I remember this being a pain in the
day
ass.
now sort of thing.
I remember this puzzle being a pain in the ass without like the numbers right in front of me, so I just went ahead and wrote them down.
Simple as. Remember, kids, it's not a HIPAA violation if you write it down.
Okay, what do I need to find to make them let me pick stuff up? I know what I'm supposed to do, I just can't take it. I must define the recipe in some other room.
Damn it, dude. Baby boy, is that a microphone? What do you think? Huh? Decoration. That is not a spot for cats. I'm sorry, I know it's warm. But that is not a spot. Go on. There you go.
Oh, do I not even have to do that puzzle? Does it just give me the bug spray in this one?
That'd be hilarious.
Jill has to play doctor, but Chris is just like, I'm not even touching that.
I'm not so good at the science. So some brave soul just came by and fucking did it for him.
Yeah. You just do it.
Awesome.
Dave, how do you rate your chances of hitting these guys?
There are a lot of factors that go into it. A lot of the type of shooting that we tend to do for like close quarters is what's known as point shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the idea that within a certain distance, like if you can reliably point at something, you can probably shoot it. Like first try is the kind of, it takes a bit of training and finesse, and depends on how many laws you're willing to break on like that given day. But it's perfectly doable. That being said, I will have our non-American viewers know that shooting wasps during the barbecue is a national pastime. Ignore anything and everything that you may read that contradicts that statement.
Oh yeah, this is the bathtub that randomly has nothing in it.
Oh, cool. I love the bathtub that randomly has nothing in it.
I like to think that they put this here, like, specifically because people were like, if there's a bathtub, there's gotta be something hidden in it. And them being like, no!
No! As they, like, cross their arms and, like, look away rapidly. And then, like, glance over their shoulder to see if you're actually looking. Is that the fucking level we're on with these game developers?
Oh, that's right. Okay. It wasn't the insecticide we had to make, it was the plant killer.
No, program, I do not wish to rotate an entire building.
Rotate.
Rotat. Banana.
Oh, damn it, I did it. I bet I did. I bet this one's all the way up here.
Bastards. Hi, handsome. You are very sharp.
Okay, let's go make some plant killer.
Woo! I like to tell people that I have a beige thumb. Like, I can get stuff to grow if I remember that it exists.
Oh, it still won't let me do it.
Cool.
I wonder if... it provides all of the information for the plant killer, and then Chris is just like, I don't know. There's no point in me taking this.
What a guy.
I guess Chris has to do things the hard way, because he doesn't know anything about medicine. Even though it told him everything he needed to know, it's not complicated.
Chris, here is literally everything you need to know. And the camera just pans slowly to see that there's just drool like beating down one side of his mouth. Eyes looking two completely different directions.
He's just like, "Durr."
Also, I'm sure I've said, but I don't know if I've said on stream yet, I am uber delighted with how Thomas the Tank Spider turned out.
Mm-hmm.
In the new, like, 3 to 4 frame animation that I gave him.
Yes.
I love somebody asked me, like, are you going to post that to Instagram? And I'm like, no. I only want to inflict, like, certain people with the accursed knowledge of how this looks, you know, before the actual video itself goes live.
I need to control my victimization until the main event.
Yes. Did I actually add that to the queue? Yes, not what I said.
What? Yeah. This is what you get for not reading what I read, Chris.
No, I didn't think there was such a thing as deadly plants. Nothing in nature can be bad for you.
That's why he was comfortable eating. Oh shit! He was comfortable eating the herbs and mixing the herbs together. It's just like it's fine because it's natural.
It's natural. Yeah, nothing natural can be bad for you. I'm just gonna keep repeating that line.
Alright, well, at least it wasn't too difficult to take out anyway. Oh, or I guess it is alive still. There we go. I'm 100% sure how shooting a plant with bullets kills it, but
I mean, I've seen people like fell trees with rifles, so it is a thing.
Well, I mean like the relative size of this plant versus like the damage you can expect a gun to do. Like, yeah, if you chopped off like whole sections of the plant, you would expect it to die, but I'm just not sure what part of the plant I needed to kill for it to die like this.
Oh, you scared me.
What were you doing over there?
Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah, it's dead. But
Richard. He's
Richard
gone.
He's gone.
I'm sorry.
It's my fault. I should have.
It's my fault.
Pharmaceutical.
I should have watched out.
Something useful.
Should have been watchful.
I'm glad you're still okay.
I'm okay away. What fucking voice am I even doing anymore?
I don't know, but I am greatly amused.
Chris punches Boulder's Redfield as voiced by Homestar Runner.
Wesker?
Chris, you're alive.
Wesker?
My words exactly. Where's Jill? Thought you were with her.
Yeah, I know. We got separated.
I see. Anyway, we better find a way out of here before we turn into zombie food. Got any suggestions, Wesker?
We should get a better grip on the situation. There must be areas still to be explored in that.
Why was that pause there?
One more time. my investigation here.
It's like a gag I would do. What the fuck?
We need to get a better grip
Better grip.
on the situation.
I fully was just gonna let the next couple minutes just be silence, just for the bit.
Right. No, if you think this game has some quirky dialogue, you should see the original.
Yeah.
It's glorious. Like, there's some funny bits in the original Resident Evil 2 and even Code Veronica that I've shown you, but this game is pretty legendary for having some funky voice acting. The original, I mean.
Krista, Brad, can you hear me? Brad.
But wow.
Damn.
Damn.
This is probably central to Chris's decision to go on steroids later. Where he just realizes that he's just really dumb, so he needs to make up for it somehow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess.
Like, I assume you've seen Chris in Resident Evil 5, right?
So Resident Evil 5 and I have a very tenuous relationship.
Uh-huh.
Basically, it was like the only Resident Evil that I've softly played.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mostly like one of my ex-boyfriends taking me through the experience because he had gone through and like unlocked everything. And what I can only describe as jarring tonal shift between these people are infected, we're all gonna die cutscenes with him just toting an actual unlimited ammo rocket launcher minigun, laying complete and utter waste to anything and everything before I have a chance to draw my pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a strange experience.
Yeah.
I may have also partially been, like, exposed to multivitamins during that time.
Exposed.
So I did not realize that a contact high was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So watch your multivitamins, kids.
But the main thing is just that there's a running joke that he started doing steroids in between games because the Chris in like Resident Evil 5 is fucking jacked.
Sure. Hi, I'm Chris Redfield. My biceps have abs. What's up? Speaking of Homestar Runner, I had a very unfortunate phone call last week. So, to give some context, a customer ordered a very expensive part to fix their machine. And I'm like, some context. I fucking hate this company. And it's not for a lack of understanding who they are or what they are about. I drove to Texas to like attend their like training and certification nonsense. And effectively, all I was able to tell my CEO at the end of that was that it was a complete and utter waste of our time and that we should not sell these products to anybody. And he was like, great, that's all I needed to hear. But as of late, this company has been sending us customers that I guess other technicians aren't able to get to. And as part of that, there's sort of there's an expectation, because I went through all the time and the effort to do that certification and training, that we will fix these people's machines and get them going. They called me to tell me that the several $1,000 part we ordered is in fact on back order and they don't know when it will be available. So I was effectively calling to ask, why, or like, do we have an ETA now that it's been a week or so? And if not, why on earth are we doing business with you guys? Was sort of the gist of my phone call. To the second part of my inquiry, this poor lady was like, yeah, let me put you on a brief hold. And was gone for the better part of like 35 minutes. So I'm faffing about the shop doing my thing. And effectively, as time's going on, and like there's no hold music, it's just like stark silence for the entire time that she's gone.
Never thought you would miss the hold music.
It's not even that I miss it necessarily, but like I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I don't have much else to do. And so I start singing the Homestar Runner hold music to myself.
Yeah.
It's the hold music. Hold music. And like I'm just kind of singing that back and forth. And out of my ear, like, I do not know how much time elapsed. But this lady's like, huh, that's kind of catchy. We should use that. And I was like, I jumped. I was not, I expected I would hear like a beep or that she would come back and be like, oh, sorry about that, wait, or, something. But no, she just came back and was silent as I'm sitting there singing to myself.
Hey, nice song.
Hey, we should use that. And I'm like, ah! You weren't supposed to hear that. Yeah, that was fun.
That does remind me of one time I was doing the hallways at work. We have a big old hallway vacuum. And I really zone out when I do the hallways because nothing is going on and it's really loud. So I can't hear what's going on anyway. And one of the teachers comes and like taps me on the shoulder to get my attention. And I am not a very vocal person. But I screamed at this woman in a way that she did not deserve or expect.
Sure.
And then afterwards, we had a good laugh about it.
Well, that's good.
But was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have yelled like that. And she's like, no, I shouldn't have startled you. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this.
Boy.
I just want you to know that this is like my least favorite puzzle to do with Resident Evil tank controls.
Yep.
Oh, well, that was easy.
Did you seriously get it first try?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think having done it so many times as Jill really helped. But I also definitely got lucky there.
Yeah.
A medal was hidden in the book. There's nothing unusual.
What a thrill.
It's kind of morbidly funny to me that Spencer had this guy make the mansion and then he trapped him inside of it, killing him, and he put a gravestone with his name on it in the room where he trapped him. I don't know. It's just attention to detail, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, this is king shit levels of fucking with someone, and I'm here for it. Come on, program. You can do it. You can do it, buddy. Come on.
The little program that could.
Nice.
I just want you to know that it's always a little funny to me that you always refer to it as the program and not its name.
Well, part of the problem is if I'm like, come on, studio, come on. Like, there are several things people could think that I'm referring to.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm vague and I just call it the program, it's mysterious.
Sure.
Hey, submodel group, that's not even remotely what I asked you to do. What the devil? Excuse you? So I'm trying to make the, like, light post that Thomas just hit fall over. But I pressed the thing to start doing the rotation, and it very, very helpfully just chucked the pieces like 100 feet in the air. I'm like, I didn't ask you to do this.
You,
I never asked for this.
Most definitely never asked for this. Okay, program, why are we freaking the fuck out?
freaking out seems to be the program's main function. Even more,
it excels at that.
even more so than perhaps animation, which it is technically not a vehicle for.
I mean, I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been you. But I remember somebody asking me something along the lines of how I feel the, like, creators of this program would feel like learning what it is I'm doing with the program. And it was it you I was having this conversation with, or was it?
I feel like we've had this conversation. Margaret might have been
Cool.
there.
It might have been both, yeah. What I will say is it reminds me a lot of one of my last trips to Washington. We got to go check out this really cool, like, train museum.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they had, like, all the trains and all the goodies and the whatnot. And more specifically, they, how would I put it? you know, they had this whole display that you could like actually go and like ride one of the trains around. I was like, this is cool. This is fun. And Margaret, while we were there, was like, oh, you should show them Thomas the Tank Spider. And I remember looking them in the eyes and saying, I don't think you understand that this is a group of people who would be deeply and seriously upset that exists.
You don't understand. These people love trains. They can never know what I've done. That's the vibe I get from that.
Yep. It's just like these are people who live and breathe trains. Like this is not a field that like brings in the big bucks, right? This is the people who are here keeping these trains and the history alive are doing it for the love of it. That, you know, they're not motivated monetarily. Like, and I don't think any of them would have quote unquote cleared leather on me. But like, I don't know. Imagine you showed one of the firefighters that like responded on 9/11, like the footage of one of the like planes going towards the tower, and then it just like, you know, bounces off with the cartoon like bonk sound effect. Like that is the kind of deeply upset I feel that these people would be.
I feel like the only people who would be like more disgusted by Thomas the Tank Spider would be the people who made Thomas the Tank Engine itself.
Possibly.
I like how you're just like, yeah, that's possible. On the other hand, they made Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
It may also offend spiders.
It certainly could. I could very much see the like fucking god, I can never remember like the little girl's name, but the one who in the meme is like, how dare you?
I'm not sure what one you're talking about.
It's the... I don't know why I'm clarifying. I can never remember her name, so I'm not going to be able to provide any sort of like constructive information on what the hell it is I'm trying to say.
What a handy place to stash some handgun bullets.
Indeed.
In a magazine. It's a good thing whoever whoever is shooting at the mansion uses the same exact gun as I do.
Right? How incredibly convenient.
Not even like a similar gun, like the exact same gun.
Like, I don't know. I hate to compare it to my work, but you know, most people there have handguns. And yeah, some of us are rocking the same caliber. In fact, one of my coworkers has like the little brother to my gun. You would think that would make it so that the magazines are compatible. And as it happens, they are not.
Well, I just remember when we went shooting, one of the things that you were there for was you had found some new magazines. And you wanted to make sure that they even fucking worked.
Yep. Because I got them at a steal, and part of the problem anytime you get something at a steal is that there is a not insignificant chance that whatever you just purchased will not work.
Haha.
Where'd my phone go? There's my phone. Oh. Ew. Vibes are rancid, my guy. I will be right back.
Okay. Hunters do not know how to use stairs. They they have human DNA, but they can't use stairs. Uh-oh, it's snaking time. Wow. That so cool. Why did it even give me this gun?
Alright, one problem is taken care of.
Uh-huh.
But I come back to a new problem.
Yes.
Which is that Licorice made himself very comfortable in my chair.
I used the one-shot Derringer thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Was it everything you hoped and dreamed?
No.
Handsome, I'm gonna sit on you.
I think
I'm gonna sit on you. Oh no, panic.
I think it was okay. Like, I think that it did a lot of damage to the snake, but I don't really think I'm impressed either.
Fair enough.
But at least now we know. I guess that's a shot I didn't have to take with my revolver.
Yeah.
I presume that they have similar firepower based on how easy the snake was to take down after I shot it with that.
Sure.
Ooh, they know how to do stairs. I lied before. And by lied, I mean I was wrong. Ugh.
So it was a lie by virtue of I had no fucking idea.
Well, I've been in this area where they would want to come after me several times before, and they never did. So I assumed that they were just like area locked.
Sure.
They couldn't cross the staircase to go to like the other area, even though they're in the same load zone. But apparently they can.
Oh, they can and they will and they might and they must. They will fight for the right to party.
Didn't you compose that sonnet yourself?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I definitely took inspiration as fucking H Bomber guy kicks my door down. Like, wait, let me finish. I took inspiration from the Beastie Boys, but I will say I joined one of my buddy's live streams, and he was like, "Yeah, everyone go check out Kodiak's new video. I don't get it, but it's good." It's just like, damn it.
I don't get it.
So shout out to my buddy Ben for being just a smidge too honest sometimes.
Can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread guy. Wait. Hold on.
Holding on.
Is the reason why there's obviously something behind that painting in the art room, but we couldn't get it as Jill because Jill is too stupid to move the painting, but Chris knows how paintings work. Even though he can't figure out medicine, apparently.
He's like, this is roughly boulder shaped if a boulder was like real flat.
He's just like, whoa, this painting is like a flat boulder. I bet it'll move if I punch it. Now I gotta go look. Nope. Yeah, you can stay in there, that's fine. Okay, I've gotta look this up. Because this is the second time where it's come up and we haven't been able to figure it out. apparently it's just a room where you can change outfits. And you have to beat the game with that character first.
I see.
Weird thing to leave a hint about, but okay. That really banks on you, like, going back to check on your second playthrough, which you just might neglect to do.
Oh, you never know.
But then again, if it's bugging you the way it was bugging me, then you might do that after all. I like how it describes it. It changed into a key. Like, rather than, like, just being a key that was barely concealed inside of a brooch.
Right.
I just randomly thought about how
Rebecca, is she upstairs?
About how?
There's a Chris, like, or like whoever you're playing as at the time will just be like, this key has no more use, discarded. And so you're just leaving around keys everywhere. Like all these keys that you like painstakingly wandered around finding, you just drop them on the ground. So whoever like needs to find them after you just can't because they're just on the floor somewhere.
There's definitely just an angle of like, well, anyway.
You know, obviously there's a need for that function in this game where, you know, a key takes up a whole inventory slot. Whereas in like reality, you could like put a key in your pocket and like not even remember that it's there.
Sure. I know I have discussed this with my coworkers because, you know, I wear a plate carrier and generally have more like cargo, you know, pants and pockets and whatnot. And I think the general joke is along the gist of like Kodiak has the largest inventory out of like any of our coworkers. Alternatively, I also have the most like the most stuff in that inventory. So it's easily like the most taken up of just everything. Granted, it's also kind of a common joke for someone to ask if I have a screwdriver that they can borrow, and I return with what color.
I like how Chris hears a scream. He's like, "Is she upstairs?" Obviously hinting that I should go upstairs and look. And then I go upstairs and like, she's nowhere to be found.
Love that.
God.
Gross. Okay.
Oh shit.
Well,
I fucked up.
Rebecca! Whoops.
Thank you.
Yep. It's all I'm here for. He said in jest.
Surely you jest.
Yeah, don't mind Kodiak, just casually scheduling 110 renders to go. I changed up the scene where I, stop at the stoplight and the officer gets spooked by Thomas and pulls out his gun and it falls in the drain. All the good things that were too quick to see in the original. And in the process of changing that out, pardon me, I have opted for a version where he's standing there holding the donut like last time, but just kind of watches Thomas and I cruise by, looks at the donut, throws it over his shoulder, and just walks away.
Just yeah, not dealing with this.
Or the implication being that, he thinks that there's something in the donut. I was listening through, the whole audio track that I'd set aside. And it feels so funny for something that I made to have me going, oh yeah, I put that in there, didn't I? Because I've just been working on so many different other things other than this animation, but now that I'm actually sitting down and putting my nose to the grindstone, I'm having to go back through and count out all the frames and correct stuff and make this a viable project. And in doing so, sort of rediscovering all the jokes and gags and whatnot that I put in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a fun process. Yeah, I had completely forgotten I'd put the nice cock joke in the bowling section. Yeah, I know that subfolder doesn't exist because I didn't create it.
I can't believe you would just not create a folder.
I know. The program couldn't believe it either, which is why it yelled at me. It's that file path doesn't exist. I'm I know it doesn't exist. There's nothing else in this folder other than PNGs. Like, I don't know what you want from me. I accidentally hit a /. Go fuck yourself.
Take that, you damn snick.
You darn dirty snick.
Ow.
Damn. Oh, pardon me.
Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Jan had just left.
Yawn. Who's yawn again?
The snake.
Ah.
Because it opened its mouth big.
Yeah.
What if it just like slithered out of the mansion and into the woods?
Daryl, you notice your cattle been disappearing? Ah, Earl, I've been noticing. It's that fucking yawn out there. The what? Fucking yawn. Gestures to the giant snake with auspiciously cow-shaped indent. Yeah, I mean, I could see a hyper massive predator like that, just wreaking havoc on the local ecosystem.
When was the last time you saw a deer?
You're just out for a hike with your morning coffee. This thing, slithers across the path in front of you. You look at your coffee, dump it out, and just go home. Although that reminds me. Have I told the story of my dad's 40th birthday?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So, I adore my dad. I've told many a Brandon story on here, and okay. It is sometimes difficult for me to explain to people that he is the sort of force of nature where he just kind of does whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not really anything almost anybody can do to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of this notion of like, there is no reasoning with a hurricane. And it's not to say that he's like destructive or violent or anything like that. It's more that like, he's the cat wanting to like knock stuff off of the counter, but you are too short to actually reach anything on the counter to prevent him from doing anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for his 40th birthday, and our family has this whole thing based on Patton Oswalt's bit, where like, there's only a handful of birthdays in your life that you're supposed to celebrate. Usually like all of the, at the 10-year mark. And that's a whole bit I could get into. But generally speaking, this was one of the big ones where, my dad's turning 40. This is like a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were like getting stuff ready. We had this whole like, shindig and like party, and a bunch of his friends, like even some of his friends from out of town. Like, we were having this whole kind of like early year shindig get together for his birthday. And, it's like an hour after he's supposed to get home. And I remember looking at my sister, because we're just kind of tending to the guests and waiting for him to get back. And I remember asking her, like, hey, have you seen Dad? She's like, no, I thought you might have seen him by now. And it occurred to us that, how much time had elapsed and like how far away his work was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have been home like an hour before that. So we started to get worried, like, did he get wrapped up at work and now my sister and I have to stall at this party for him to get home? And so we called the store that he worked at, and one of his dear sweet coworkers, I think not his like assistant manager, because he was the manager of that location, but sort of someone who was like close to working with him recognized our number and answered immediately. and was like, "Hey, kiddos, what's up?" And we're like, "Hey, is Brandon still there?" She was like, "No, he left at his usual time." And we were like, "Cool. Did he indicate that he was heading anywhere other than home?" And she's like, "No." And my sister and I start to get worried at this point, but we sort of understand that like two things are in our favor. One is that anything that like might have tried to take him down on the way home would be like equally, if not more, fucked up than him. So like there was that comfort. But then it sort of dawned on me the other comfort. I'm like, wait, he has his, like we're in the information age. He has his cell phone with him. So I call him and it goes immediately to voicemail. And to cut a long story less long, you know, we wait the requisite like 24 hours before we file a missing persons report. And I fully thought that that weekend was going to be something that I was going to be talking about on like a unsolved like murder mystery podcast, like, you know, about now. But the that Monday came, and with it, he came home and was like a little ragged, but no worse for wear, and just kind of like shuffled past us and, you know, went to go take a shower. And it kind of took my sister and I a moment to like register that he had just walked through the door after being missing for the better part of like 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So we hop up and we're just kind of like, where the fuck have you been? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, we filed a missing persons report, man. Like,
we had already written you off. So long you've been gone.
And do you want to know where he went?
Where is that?
He went to celebrate his birthday. Out in the desert. By just parking his car and ingesting and from his friend who like sold it to him that I talked to like later down the line, what was described as a metric ass load of multivitamin mushrooms, one-ups and the whatnot, if you will. And he just wandered out into the desert. And I remember calling the police department back to be like, hey,
put your hands up, please.
Fair enough. I remember calling them back to be like, hey, go ahead and cancel that ABP. He came home. And of course the dispatcher wanted to know like why he disappeared.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not about to tell dispatch that my dad just went and tripped absolute balls in the desert for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like trying to think on my toes because I didn't expect her to like give a shit about like where my dad went. I also recognize it's usually like the kid that's telling telling law enforcement that their child has gone missing, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca, is she upstairs?
And for some odd reason, the only thing that came to mind was like, yeah, it turns out he was having an affair. But we can go ahead and cancel that, that missing persons thing. And she was like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, we'll close that out. And I remember hanging up and just kind of looking at myself and being like, why was that where my brain went? Why was that so much like better an explanation than the truth, or I don't know, any more convincing a lie?
I mean, I guess.
As to why he didn't tell us, he was like, well, you guys would have tried to stop me. And we're like, yeah, we would have stopped you. He's like, no, you would have tried. Like, fucking, I guess.
Rebecca.
Chris!
You okay?
Rebecca.
I didn't mean to get you worried.
We can't stay here any longer. We have to get to the others and find a way out of here. You with me?
Yes.
Then I'll go ahead. Until then, Rebecca, you're on your own. Stay cool and use your better judgment. Got it?
I can handle myself.
Good luck.
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
We can't stay here.
It's danger. Oh, good lord. So yeah, sometimes when I'm bored or don't have much else to do, I find myself thinking about his adventure through the desert that weekend. Because I don't know if you've ever interacted with someone on multivitamin mushrooms.
I have not.
They're coherent for the most part, but there's definitely something off. And I just wonder if there's some like campers that were out there that weekend that just tell tale of this like strange shaman that came by. Or just like, yeah, we were out in the desert, and like we're biologists, so we're pretty familiar with the noises that like animals make, but there was just this inhuman screeching out in the desert one night, and, like no animal or like person or anything we'd ever heard before, and I'm just sitting there listening to this podcast, head in hands, like, that was probably my dad. Doing what was very likely in his mind a flawless Daffy Duck impersonation.
You know, I've always wondered why they decided Daffy Duck should sound like he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I also love the piece of trivia that, like, a fictional character has, like, a recognized rank in the U.S. military.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something about that that's like, yeah, we might not be the greatest country on the earth. Sorry, I love just trailing off like that. I think if I learned anything from my dad and all his bits, it was consistency above all else. It's like, what you're talking about, what you're doing, whether it's for a bit or, you know, other unrelated shenaniganry, it can be as ludicrous as you want, but it has to be consistent. And there was a part of Brandon, and still remains a part of Brandon, that will just pick a bit and stick to it flawlessly. Like, I hate to admit that it did not occur to me until much after I had told the story that there is not an insignificant possibility that the Tamales lady story is just him fucking with my sister and I. And, like, I'll never know now, because even if I ask him to his face, he's just gonna be like, yeah, no, why on earth would I make that up? So
what,
that just...
what do I look like? Someone who would make something like that up?
What, like, for fucking... Bless my poor grandma, who has been, like, part of, like, up to my dad's antics since well before I was born. He told her some, like, fact about an actor or an actress or someone. You can tell that it's so fresh in my mind by the vagueness as I try to recall the details. But like, it took my grandma, like, years to figure out that my dad was just making it up. I'll have to ask Brandon to see, or better yet, I might just ask my grandma, be like, hey, what was Dad pulling your leg on about that one actor and or actress? What I know wasn't a falsehood, because I fucking lived through it, was one trip to a sunny little city known as St. George with him and a couple of his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister and I, you know, we never really knew what to expect when it came to different, like, road trips, especially with my dad. Because, like, I don't know, fucking anything was on the table. There wasn't really, like, a defined so to speak, you know, there was a loose plan as far as where we were going, but as far as what we were doing, as far as how long we were doing it for, all of those things were sort of a like, meh, we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. And this trip down to St. George, you know, my sister and I, we'd packed like the tent, the camping gear, kind of all the stuff that Brandon had asked us to. And we noticed very conspicuously that he did not pack a bag. And I remember at one of the like rest stops in like Fillmore, like halfway down to St. George, I remember asking my sister, like, did Dad ask you to like pack his bag? And she was like, I thought you loaded it. So we spend like half the drive thinking that he'd asked one of us to do it and one or both of us had forgotten. And Dad wasn't going to find out that he didn't have like a bag of clothes or whatnot until he got there. Until we learned that Heinrich did not pack bags. Because Heinrich was the persona that my dad took on for the entire trip. And I mean, from the moment we stopped at the first gas station in St. George, where he went to go into the restroom to change, and like he'd been wearing his funny little like fedora with like the feather in the cap and whatnot, and like an embroidery of the German flag on the side of it.
Enrico,
but
don't come any closer, Chris.
Oh boy.
What happened?
Double crosser.
Enrico, wait. Enrico! Enrico! Double crosser.
Now he died of death. See, at least Chris had the reaction time that fucking Jill just didn't. Oh, could it be? But he came back out of that bathroom holding his jeans and his shirt and all the other stuff, and proceeded to, for the entire trip, wear exclusively a jet black Speedo and that fedora. Took on a whole German accent, this whole, you know, persona of being like a tourist from Germany who was just there for the sights. And at the time, I distinctly remember my sister and I actively pretending that we had no fucking clue who this guy was, despite following him everywhere. But yeah, he did not let that bit down for a moment. And I definitely, like, this isn't one of the thoughts that keeps me up at night, so to speak, but I definitely think from time to time about the people we encountered and, you know, the other tourists and whatnot there in St. George that weekend who may or may not have thought, you know, like, even perhaps to this day, telling stories of like, oh, we met this like really quirky German guy this one time when we were in when we were in St. George, and I'm just here like, and they'll never know. They'll never know the truth. They will die blissfully unaware of the existence of my father, human Bugs Bunny.
Does Brandon enjoy just destroying people's minds?
100%. I would say outside of teaching people things, it's probably his favorite pastime. Now, it is worth reminding people that my father is now a school teacher and is like actively responsible for just a gaggle of like 7-year-olds. And I'm just sitting here like remembering being a 7-year-old around my dad and the kind of energy that he just brought to any given event. Rolling around at the speed. Chris is like, rocks are natural. They can't be bad for you. What? One starts rolling toward. Do you think this one rolling towards him is the PTSD that fueled that punching fit in the 5th one?
That may be. That's why he went on the steroids. He's like, I've got to be stronger than boulders. Boulders are everywhere.
Later on, he meets Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He just cracks his roided up knuckles.
Ow.
And the award for most pathetic flamethrower in a video game goes to... Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I really thought that would work.
I've met like electrical fires that were more threatening. Pretty sure I've listened to mixtapes that spit more fire than that fucking thing. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, not sure if we want to pick this up again next time.
Yeah, I think so.
Sweet deal.
I think
thanks for having me.
It's pretty late to start back from earlier. But yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks.
It is what it is.
For everybody for watching. We're getting pretty close to the end of this one.
I know. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Aaron, thanks for having me. We'll see all you lovely folks at a later date.